Hey everyone, I'm Black Marvin, a progressive psychedelic trance artist, and I'm also a teacher for electronic music. Today we have a gift sent from Evan. We already have Valhalla Supermassive by the company Valhalla DSP, which, by the way, in my opinion, is one of the leaders in the reverb and delay game. I I'm gonna say something that maybe some of you will disagree, and that's totally okay. But to me, it is superior than the Fab Filter ones, or maybe just different. But I prefer their interface, and I prefer. Yeah, I'm gonna just say it. I prefer these to the Fab Filter ones, and so they are some of the leaders, in my opinion, in these types of plugins. So they gave us Valhalla Supermassive a while ago, and right now there's two new modes. It's Orion and Cassiopeia. We're gonna check these out today. We're also gonna check a technique how we can use Valhalla Supermassive to generate some splash, crash, and a riser just using a source effect. Before we dive deeper, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to this channel. I cover a lot of tools like these, and if it's good, if it's useful, if it's brilliant, I'm gonna cover it in a video. Now, let's go. So, Valhalla Supermassive. Let's start by what everybody wants to know. There's two new modes. There's Cassiopeia and Orion. And these two modes are sort of brother and sisters in some ways, similar to how, there's Cyrus Major, Cyrus Minor, that the algorithm have a similar pattern, but with a difference. And yeah, these are really cool, and I'm gonna show you how to use them actually. And it is quite simple. Let's start with a default preset. So we have this here, and I'm gonna get Cassiopeia. I'm gonna get just a dotted, which is fairly common and sounds very good. The key parameter to remember is that, well, there's the mix like any classic delay. There's the timing, which we already set up. The really important thing here is the warp and the density. Okay, feedback is important too, but what makes Valhalla Supermassive special is the warp and the density and how they act. Because basically, if you have 0% warp and 0% density, you're gonna have what's closest to just like a regular delay bouncing. And we're gonna start by listening through that with the mode. And in order to test that, I have the sludgy grid loops here from the pack fraction packs, sludge grids and synths by Fractal Sounds, and this is just a hit of that loop. That's like a sludgy percussive loop, and this is a technique I use sometimes when I want to create like unique effects instead of just like dragging a typical white noise. I get these and I slap in a Valhalla Supermassive on top of them, and then I get something like this. So that's like when I say this is like the closest you'll get to a regular delay, but you can already hear that there's like some bit of phasing, because it starts to, it's not just a regular delay, but that's the closest you'll get to a delay. And if you want to have settings that are closer to a delay, you set it up like this. And now, so the real personality of the algorithms appears when you when you get the warp function on it. So let's just put like 35% of warp, and you'll hear that in Cassiopeia, it starts to like spiral up into a delay. That's not the only one that does it, but the Cassiopeia has specific parameters, and let's hear how it sounds now. Yeah, this one sounds really cool. So in the short term, you hear that, yes, it's delay, but it's almost like multiple fractions very close together. And the later you hear that it sort of like transforms into a reverb. Let's hear if we put like 60% of warp. Let's hear how it sounds. So already just with the, same mode, same timing, same everything, but with a different warp, we already have like a different like behavior. But so already with the, same mode, same timing, same feedback, but with a different warp, we have different behavior. But we still, there's still like the typical Cassiopeia way of doing things. So it's like almost like sparks of delay at the first time, and then sort of fades into a reverb. So let's hear like with 100% of warp. So this one is kind of interesting. I would have expected to be to transfer into more of an echo mode faster, but doesn't seem to quite act exactly like it. So let's test at 80 something percent, and then we'll talk about the density after. So it's really cool that some sort of like unstable sparks of echoes. Really cool. Now, the density is basically the echo volume, or and almost like it's not exactly it, but it could be called like sustained in some ways, in terms of it's gonna put more sustained into your feedback. So feedback can equate into a longer delay, but with the density too. Well, it's not necessarily the time, but the intensity of the delayed signal. So you hear that like that reverb, that like noise, long noise, like long ocean of noise. So if you're looking into transforming sounds into some long reverb and long atmospheres, you can use the density to do so. Now I'm going to show you the Orion mode before we actually do some sound design with this. So same settings, Orion mode now. It feels like we still have those sparks of delay, but it feels like it lasts longer and it's a bit more intense. So let's just try less density, less warping before we move on. Remember when I used the term spiral up into reverb? This one does it in a sense that it starts as delay, and then it like whirlwind or spin, and then becomes more reverb thing. So it's really cool, very, very useful. And we're gonna do some sound design now with Valhalla Supermassive. And so I have some presets here. Fractal Massive for Valhalla Supermassive. There's a new folder, a hyperspace verblaze for hybrid between a reverb and a delay. And there's some presets here. I think we're going to try White Ocean. And there's Space Fold, which is verblaze again. But this one are really short ones, and these one are long ones. So what we're going to do, we're going to transform this into effects that we can put in a track. I'm gonna load just a kick and bass to get us going. So I loaded a kick and bass here for my track New Sun, so we can have something to work with. And we're basically going to do one splash, one effects crash, and then we're also gonna create a riser for that end here, and then it's gonna be some sort of loop. So first, let's start a preset that tends to be more of a reverb than a delay. So long reverb. This one is cool, but it's a bit almost metallic. Let's try this one. It's a bit better. Oh yeah, this one. This one is perfect because it's not too metallic and it is just a bit of delay thingy inside this one. So that's perfect. I'm gonna record this impact. But I want to try if I can get something even more with even more reverb. So I'm gonna put the mix all the way up. And then I'm also gonna add more density, maybe. And I'm gonna record this one. As a difference, you can see like the difference between just this small parameter tweak, and that's the difference between splash 1. Well, the mix knob is, I think it's mostly responsible also for that, but you can see the difference between splash 1 and splash 2. This one is cool but intense, but with some nice EQing, it's gonna blend really good in the track. So I'm gonna use this one. We're gonna high pass this for sure. So it sounds almost like white noise crash, but it has more character to it. And still, in the end, I chose something that is close to a white noise. But if we go to the grid pieces here and we choose this one, we're gonna have something that is less close to the white noise concept and has more character. So for example, let's just run it into the Valhalla Supermassive. So once you're set up like this, you can almost do like some easy swap. You just need to take care that it is on the right note. But if we like maybe a turbo kit. So yeah, it kind of gives you an idea of, you know, all the things you can do with it. So we have this splash. Now let's test it in context. Great. So if you're in FL Studio, you also have like the in and out that you can like just take care a bit of the you know, the ADSR sort of, or of that sound. I will put a duck on too, just to get that pumping a bit. You can, you know, sidechain to your taste. So we have this set up and we will cut that here. So that's like the crash, and then we need a riser. So that's going to be quite easy. We're going to make unique. We're going to reverse. And when you reverse, take care that if you've put some out, it's going to like, it's going to appear like empty, but just make sure you reset that out here. And then we're going to have like a good riser. We're going to rise the energy here. Maybe we'll get rid of the impact at the end, or maybe we won't. But let's hear first how does that sound. And it's, to me, we can keep the same processing since it's almost the same sound. So that's one context that you can use Valhalla Supermassive. I'm going to show you another one. So I went inside this bank, Side Transfusion from Fractal Sounds, inside Pigments, and I chose this acid preset. You know, this one already has a nice delay inside it, but I'm gonna bypass this one. And I'm gonna use Supermassive instead. I'm just gonna do some small stab here. And it sounds like this. Now I'm inside Supermassive. I'm gonna go inside a preset and I'm gonna get a long delay. This one is really cool. I was not expecting that. So there's like, yeah, these like is similar to the new algorithms we check, but like it's even more like sparks and bumps of echoes everywhere. There's some cleaner stuff also. That's really cool. Let's try another one. Yeah, that's more what I was looking for. So this is, it's similar and closer to some real delay, but with some a bit more like funkiness and movement. And so yeah, they were all cool. Honestly, it just depends on what you're going for. But it sounds more like progressive psychedelic trance, like long delay. So it's inside the Fractal Massive for Valhalla Supermassive. There in the long delay. It's called Glee. So that was another context where we can use this. There's many others that we can do. You can craft your own effects, like big impacts if you use kick drums and you apply this, and there's a couple of stuff to do, but many stuff you can do, and it's free. Thank you, Valhalla, for bringing us Supermassive. And that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed. And if you don't have Valhalla Supermassive yet, I suggest you go get it. It's a really great tool. We thank you, Valhalla DSP, for the gift. It is really cool. I'll also suggest you check out the other Valhalla DSP plugins. They are amazing. I will also link the packs used in this video. So the Valhalla Supermassive presets, they are free. Supermassive is free. So, it is free. Just you can go and grab it. I'll also use some of samples from Fractal Sounds. The link to the pack is in the description. Also, don't forget to check out my community of students if you feel you need some one-to-one mentoring, you want to get better, you want group lessons, check that out. It will be a pleasure to teach you electronic music. That is my passion. And until then, I will see you in other exciting videos. Cheers.